It's a Friday evening. You finally finished that feature your boss was bugging you about for weeks, and after you carefully review and test the code, you submit the pull request and call it a weekend. As you sip your coffee the following morning, you get a text from your colleague who had reviewed your code from the night before, and to your surprise, they congratulate you for finally becoming a vibe coder. You check your last commit, co-authored by Copilot. It reads, "You're confused. You don't even use AI in your code, let alone Copilot." When they're not proactively removing access to my C drive, they're busy deleting my code, and if they're not doing that, they take advantage of the fact that I'm using their code editor and turn the commit messages I author into free real estate for advertising their expensive chatbot by stealthily branding it. The concerning part, however, is merely using vscode without any AI features is enough to earn you the co-authored by Copilot badge of dishonor. The merged pull request titled "Enabling AI Co-author by Default" silently added a co-authorship statement to people's commits, even when they had disabled AI features in their VS Code settings. We can only imagine how neatly they felt after sneaking in an untested PR with a catastrophic title that was merged only 4 hours after it was submitted, most likely after having been reviewed by AI. So a vibe-coded feature vibe reviewed and shipped to millions of users. People were immediately enraged, and I would be enraged too. Even Copilot itself was having beef with it. The reviewer who merged the pull request said the following, quote, "I am the person who approved this pull request and would like to acknowledge and apologize for the mistake of turning this feature on by default without sufficient upfront validation. There was no ill intent by evil corporation." End quote. Hearing that last bit from an employee working at Microsoft is just disorienting. I mean, this is a company that is openly anti-user. Sure, human error is to be expected sometimes, and just because someone works for a company that is evil doesn't mean that they are themselves. Quote, "The idea was to track AI-only changes and add the trailer when such changes were detected, and the setting was enabled. Obviously, we didn't want to attribute all changes to AI. There is a bug in change detection which slipped through testing, which led to even non-AI changes being tracked, and thus we have this problem." End quote. Clearly, they did not approve the faulty feature and ship it with ill intent. It would be extremely embarrassing if this same guy wrote a comment both admitting that they knew about the bug and released the feature anyways, and contradicting his first comment that the bug had slipped through testing. Quote, "We did catch it internally in testing, as we use VS Code for all our work. So some folks did stumble on it, but I think we underestimated the impact and should do a better job at that." End quote. Of course, the non-evil corporation that releases buggy software on purpose. Is there really anything new here? No. Is this surprising to me coming from Microsoft? Absolutely not. This is my third video covering Microsoft's oopsie daisies, and those were only the most recent ones. Quote, "I am reverting it because there are bugs in the feature, and it obviously does not work as expected." End quote. What he's talking about is this version tagged 1.119, where he simply turned git.addAI co-author to off and agreed that, quote, "There needs to be a more explicit opt-in into this for teams that want it," end quote. Which makes about as much sense as me saying I'd like to have an advertisement for a mega corporation's product on my forehead. I can assure you 100% that if it weren't for the backlash, they wouldn't have reverted anything. Because co-authored by Copilot is marketing, and marketing is the only reason these AI companies are surviving in the first place. Thank you for watching. See you next time.